welcome. And what shall we talk about right now in this transmission, in this recording, let's say, okay? Well, I would like to talk about the spiritual journey of self-awareness and the sense of self-value. Because the more you go into your spiritual journey, the more you get self-awareness, okay? The more you start to be self-aware of yourself. And self-awareness means that the eyes of your soul are opening up to give you a more wider and wider vision and perspective of what's going on in your life, okay? And then suddenly, when you start to have the wider vision and perspective of what goes on in your life, in the terms of those old ways in your life that you have always been repeating over and over again as a loop, old habits, and those old things that you have always wanted to change in your life, like the relationships with other people, what occurs at work, in family, it all keeps repeating over and over again, like, let's say, a circle that never ends. Well, once you start to have the wider perspective and the more deeper perspective of the nature of this type of situation in your spiritual pathway, because when you are more aware of yourself, your senses are more amplified, and you notice things that you have always been ignoring or wanted to ignore, okay? Let's say that you are always turning your head the other way. And of course, this is the coping mechanism, okay? Our coping mechanism, where we constantly compromise ourselves towards what we want to change, justifying things that in reality have never ever been okay with us and in our lives, like justifying the attitudes, the toxic attitudes of other people, trying to find a way to see how they are right while they are psychologically, let's say, manipulating us or putting us down or gaslighting us, for an example, okay? And of course, this coping mechanism kicks in of justifying what we do not like, where we put ourselves, let's say, in the second place, or in the row of life, even in the last place, okay? But no, it's not okay. It's not okay at all. So, when we go down this pathway, or where we have a deeper understanding of ourselves, of course, automatically, we have a wider awareness, a deeper awareness, and a wider vision of what occurs around us. And then, yes, that fundamental key to kickstart the change comes in. And this is the profound sense of self-value, okay? Self-value, where you really realize that time is even yours. Time is even a gift for you to use in a very wise and constructive way. Time is life. Time is energy. And when you realize that you've been giving away so much of your time, so much of your energy, that then means giving away so much of your life, and you're not receiving in a righteous way, okay? Of course, when you start to have the more ample vision of a situation that has been going on for so long, then self-value kicks in. And of course, you feel emotionally disturbed because all those old emotions like anger and resentment that you have been keeping within yourself, bottled up, they start to come out. And you feel angry towards the situation. And you feel so discouraged. And you have the impression that the situation gets worse. But of course, it doesn't get worse. It's always been this way. But you are having a wider and deeper vision of a situation that has always been repeating the same way. Your eyes of the soul, the eyes of self-awareness is opening up. And of course, this anger and this resentment that is furtherly amplified comes from that profound sense of you needing to value yourself, self-value. And this is when the change kicks in. And this is when you have to learn to hone your anger and your resentment into a constructive energy, into an energy that permits you to project what you need to change in the terms of attitudes, in the terms of words, in the terms of action, in a decisive and resolutive way, okay? Because now you're starting to understand what you really want from yourself, what you really want from life. So this is what it's about, okay? Said in very simple ways. So when we are down the pathway of change and we reach this point, many people have the tendency to back up, to give up their pathway, because this is when you really face the nature of your shadow, okay? Where, of course, doubts come in, fear, and all sorts of negative emotions. You feel discouraged, but this is the turning point. This is the key to open a door towards a new pathway where you have broken that circle. Okay, so whenever you reach this point, be aware that you have arrived up to, let's say that you have arrived at a very important point in your life where now you have the power to change, because within yourself you are clearly telling to yourself, it is time to take action and not to be passive anymore. You know, I've heard, let's say, recently that a person told me it's okay to be weak, right? Accept the fact that you are weak and it's okay to be weak. And I firmly replied, it's okay to be weak, but it's not okay to stay weak. Okay, it's not okay to stay weak. And at a certain point in your life, when you start to feel that sense of self-value, it is good to bully the bully. Okay, this is the metaphor. To react towards what needs to be changed means having the power to change things, okay? Because it's not a question of energy coming while you are meditating to make you feel in peace, but it's a question of how to ground this energy and to use this energy as an empowering, spiritually empowering circumstance that forges your character, that determines your character, that transforms your attitude in this transformative process to react courageously and decisively with wise words where you are, let's say, an example, okay, to yourself, being an example towards others, to actuate the change. And this means that now you're going down a pathway which then determines, of course, a healthy life, because you are being healthy with yourself, okay? And you're not going down a pathway that risks to become a short pathway, okay? That you're going on a long, prosperous pathway because you are healthy with yourself. Because remember, there are two choices in this type of circumstance. You're in front of a crossroads, and one pathway can be short. You're risking of having a very short pathway in life where you see a tombstone, and on that tombstone there is written, he was a good guy. Because many of those people, for an example, have taken advantage of you in your life, okay? Remember you as a good guy because you have always been remissive, you have always compromised yourself. And the other pathway is he's still hanging around, but he's an inspirational guy, okay? But inspirational to those who are truly ready to accept you for who you are and understand you for who you are and honor your personal perspective, rather than those other people who may say he was a good guy. On that pathway, they may say, he's selfish, he's egotistical, but they don't understand the difference between an unhealthy ego and a healthy ego, where there is a time to say yes and there is a time to say no. And when the time to say yes arrives, you decide where, when, and how. Okay? So this is some little advice. Anyway, thank you for listening to me, and it's time to close this recording with a bit of drumming and chanting. And I honor the spirit within each one of you.